Your social skills absolutely suck. How do I know this? Well, everybody's social skills absolutely suck these days. My social skills used to suck. And you might find this quite relatable actually. So, my social skills were quite bad. And I would meet new people or I'd meet up with friends. And these were people that I'd have a lot in common with and I would have a lot to talk about with. But something just felt off. There were a lot of awkward silences. I really felt like we were trying to talk over each other and it just didn't gel correctly, meaning I just didn't feel that connected to that person. And even though we were sort of friends, we weren't that good friends. And I really struggled to make good friends. And I would always walk away feeling like I blew it. But there is one thing that completely changed everything. I implemented just a singular thing that really isn't that hard to do. It's one of the simplest things ever, and that completely flipped everything on its head. Now I feel like I can talk to anyone. I feel like I vibe with so many different people. I can hold a conversation with anyone and I just feel magnetic. I feel like people want to talk to me. Now, I don't want to waste your time. So what is this simple trick? Well, I like to call it active observation. Now, this can be split into two different parts, the act of listening and the act of using what you've listened to ask good questions, both of which I will cover how to do in this video. So, firstly, the act of listening. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, I already listened. No, you don't listen properly. Again, I know you don't listen properly because no one listens properly. Listening is a skill, and it is a skill you've never cultivated in your life because no one really likes listening. No one likes. I don't want to hear about you. I want to talk about myself. That is at the essence of every single social interaction. I want to talk about myself, and that's all a conversation is two people talking about themselves bouncing off of each other. However, if you break that mold and instead of talking about yourself, listen to the other person, they will like you so much more. So, how do you get better at listening? Well, just listen. And that's actually not as simple as it sounds. When I say just listen, I'm quite literally mean just listen. Do nothing else. Don't think about anything else. Don't think about what your hands are doing. Don't think about what your feet are doing. Don't even think about what you're going to say next. Just listen. Focus 100% of your attention onto the other person and what they are saying. Unconsciously, they will definitely pick up on this and they will just like you more because no one listens to them these days. And I'm about to tell you something which will genuinely ruin social interactions for quite a while. And it's people don't listen to each other. You just wait for your turn to speak. Now, notice this next time you're in a conversation with anyone. You say something and they instantly respond. That means they were thinking about what they were going to say whilst you were still talking. They didn't actually listen to you. They just focused on what they wanted to answer the conversation and they wanted to talk. As I said, they will just like you so much more because no one does this these days. Make a conscious effort to listen what they're going to say. And then additionally, if you're actually listening, you will remember things about them. And like when you next see them or anything, you can bring stuff up that most people won't remember. Oh, how was that event you went to? How was your exam? Most people won't remember those sort of things. How was your birthday? Little things like that add up to someone liking you so much more. Now, the second part of active observation is asking good questions. You cannot do this part without doing the first part, listening well. This is because to ask good questions, you need to have listened to what the other person has said, to be able to go down an avenue of where you can lead the conversation of where they can talk about themselves more. Now, this is really good because you're keeping attention off of yourself and you're allowing the other person to talk about themselves more. That means, as we've discussed, someone talks about themselves, they will just like you more because people don't remember. They don't remember what specifically you say in conversation, but they will remember how you make them feel. And if you make them feel listened to, if you make them feel like you're genuinely interested in their life by listening and asking good questions, they will just like you. They will remember that you made them feel special compared to the 100 other people they've spoken to in the last month that didn't make them feel like that. Now, as I said, the act of asking good questions should be fairly easy if you've done a good job listening to them. You just need to ask an open-ended question that allows them to talk about themselves. So I just want to give an example of a bad and a good question to sort of help you ask good questions. So let's say you're talking to your mate or something and you ask them how their workday is. and you're like, oh, how was work? And they say, oh, quite bad actually. And you're like, oh, why is that? Are you really busy? That would be quite a bad question to ask. Not because like it's obviously you're good that you're asking questions and trying to get them to talk about themselves, but it's just sort of a yes or no answer. Like they say, oh, you say, oh, are you busy right now? And they're like, yeah, we've got a new client. And then where do you go from there? Like, yeah, you don't really give a shit about their client or anything. You're like, oh, okay, my workday was fine. Thanks for asking. Like, that's just it. On the other hand, there are a couple of different avenues you could go down to ask a better question. For example, you ask them how their work is, they say bad. Now, because you're a good listener, as we've discussed in the first part of this video, you remember that last week they mentioned that they were having a really busy day or they had all these new stuff coming in. You're like, oh yeah, how was that? How was your new client? How was your new thing? Because you remember that they told you last week, and then they're really happy because they know that you actually listened to them, and then they start waffling on about it because they think that you actually give a shit because you've remembered that little bit of information that they told you. Or if it's someone that you don't really know that much about, you don't know much about their work, you say, oh, how was your day at work? They say bad, and you say, why is that? And then that's a very open-ended question. They talk about why it was bad, and then you sort of carry on. Whatever they say, you go further into that. So you say, oh, how was your work day? Bad. Oh, why is that? And they say, oh, it's really busy. Again, we'll keep going with busy. Oh, it's really busy. We've got a new client. And you're like, oh, well, that's interesting. What specific part of your workload when there's a new client makes you really busy? Like what's the hardest bit? That is, again, such an open-ended question, and because it's quite a detailed and good question, that person will think that you genuinely care about their job and will therefore start waffling about themselves. And then you just listen to that and then ask another good question, and then you just sort of repeat. And that's really it. Keep doing that, and people will just talk about themselves for hours on end. They will remember that you made them feel heard, you made them feel listened to, and you made them feel interesting, which, as I said before, is better than 99% of people can do for them, meaning they will absolutely fucking love you. If this video has helped you in any way, shape or form, please give it a like and a subscribe. That would really help me out. Or I'll see you in the next one.